Hello, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Hannah. If you're not new, welcome back. Today I'm doing a little sit down reset monthly review video. I don't really ever do sit down videos that much anymore because I just like vlogging so much, but I wanted to bring back like a monthly reset video specifically for this month because I feel like I was like really on top of like my goals, budgeting, the whole 9 yards this month. So I'm not sure if this is going to be like an every month thing, but I figured for the month of January going into February I would do like a monthly review and a monthly reset for the new month. So since this is going to be a sit down style video, I would highly recommend maybe also grabbing like your laptop, iPad, journal, whatever you use to reset for a new month, or like write goals down or budget and kind of maybe like reset along with me. You can also grab your favorite beverage. For right now, I'm doing a Stanley Cup because I already had an iced coffee this morning and Lord knows I don't need any more caffeine. I've broken this monthly reset down into 4 little sections that I think would be fun to talk about, fun to review, fun to discuss, and also just like a good mental reset for myself. So the first category that I want to start with is doing a monthly highlight. I just want to talk about like the good things that happened in January that I loved, that made me feel good, that were like monumental moments of the month. So the first one that I have is finding a new workout class that I love. I tried Rumble Boxing for the first time and I'm now literally addicted. I say addicted, but I've only been twice. I got sick this month, which is why I've only been twice, but I have workout classes scheduled for this week. So I'm really excited to find a new workout class that I actually love and I think that I'm definitely gonna stick to. I just think it's a fun way to switch up the routine and a fun way to like get my cardio in, strength workout, the whole 9 yards. Next favorite item is the Libby app, and if you guys don't know what the Libby app is, it's basically a app that you can use to borrow books from the library, like ebooks. I've used the Libby app previously, and my issue with the Libby app has always been that you have to wait for the books, and I'm just like not a patient person. So when I have to wait for a book for weeks at a time, it drives me up the wall. I'm trying to implement patience here, and I've rediscovered my love for the Libby app because of the fact that you can literally rent books for free. Like, I'm spending so much money on Kindle ebooks and physical books that I'm probably never gonna read again. So I've been using the Libby app recently. I'll read Kindle Unlimited books while I'm waiting for the Libby books, or like if there's a cheap book on Kindle, I'll just buy it, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I'm trying to get good about reserving books in advance and then just waiting for them to come out rather than just like buying them on Kindle and spending unnecessary money. So I've been loving that. I hope I did a good job of explaining what that app is for those that have like the Kindle or an iPad or like the Kindle app. I would highly recommend checking out the Libby app and just like typing in your local library because you can rent a lot of the popular books that are like trendy right now for free. You just have to wait a little bit. Also, sorry for the lighting on my face. I know that that is kind of annoying. The light is like coming in weirdly through the curtain, but I figured this was like the most aesthetic background and the best lighting for this video. So just ignore it as the lighting kind of like switches on and off. And the last monthly highlight, not the last, but like the last most notable highlight of this month, is Love Island UK season 9. I did figure out how to hack the system and get a VPN so that I could watch it in real time and not have to wait for it to come out on Hulu in the US. So I've been loving watching Love Island UK season 9. I don't know what it is, but it's like my comfort show. I think it's the fact that they come out with a new episode every day during the week, so it just gives me something to look forward to. So I've been really loving that too. Okay, moving on to the next section, we have goals, and I'm actually gonna share my goals up on the screen with you guys right now because I want you guys to be able to see them and like so I can talk about them and stuff like that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just spent an embarrassing amount of time trying to figure out how to screen record on my laptop, despite the fact that I've literally done that before. So that's how today's going. Anyways, these are my January 2023 goals. If you guys are new around here, I don't typically set a lot of monthly goals. I know some people set like 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 monthly goals, but to me that is an extremely overwhelming thing to do, and thinking about having to complete all those goals in a single month, quite frankly, stresses me out. So I set anywhere between like 4 to 8 goals, I would say. For the month of January, I set 4 goals because these were like the first things that kind of came to mind, and I feel like I was trying to get back into my routine. I was trying to think about how I could easily achieve my yearly goals, so on and so forth. So for the month of January, I only set 4 goals, which I think is totally fine. Do what works best for you. Do what doesn't overwhelm you. Do what makes you feel good and makes you feel like you've accomplished things. Everyone's so different, so this is just an example of like how I do it, I guess. So the first goal for the month of January, which I've already crossed out, is dry January. No drinking for the month of January. I don't know if that's a thing everywhere, but in the US, it's kind of become like a trend to do dry January for the year to kind of reset your system. So a lot of people won't drink alcohol for the month of January. I have friends that are doing it, and I attempted to do it this month and I failed. But here's the thing. I'm not a big drinker as it is. Like occasionally I will get in a mood and just, you know, be a 25-year-old and drink, but the majority of the time, I'm not a big drinker. I'll have like maybe 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol a week. That's including the weekends, and if that at all, because sometimes I just like don't even drink on the weekends. I'm really like a mood drinker, I would say. Literally the second weekend of January after I set this, I just had like a big weekend with friends where I was going out to dinner to like catch up with them after the holidays. I was going to like sports bars, watching football games, you know, doing the whole 9 yards. And when you're in those social settings, like you do want to drink. It's a social situation. So I broke that, and I did feel bad about breaking it like pretty soon into setting the goal. But then I was thinking about it, and like I was saying, I'm not a binge drinker. I don't drink a lot as it is. So this was probably an unnecessary goal to set for myself because of the fact that it's not really a prominent trend in my life to drink a lot to the point where I would need a reset, you know what I mean? So I did break this goal. I'm not really upset about it. I probably will never do like dry January or a dry month ever again because I don't need to. I literally drink like 2 glasses of alcohol, whether it's a glass of wine or like an espresso martini or something, like maybe every other week. Second goal is to put $184.50 into savings. This is a very specific number. I totally understand. I did achieve it this month. For my yearly goal, which I'll also put up on the screen really quickly, I have under financial to save $2,000 and put that in my savings, which I know is like a very small number to some people, and I don't know why I need to justify this, but that is just the amount that I set. And when I set that, I created something called a savings tracker, where I broke down how much I would need to save per month in order to achieve that goal. And then on the other side of that, I basically broke it down per paycheck, I guess. So I did put $92.25 in my massive like savings account each paycheck this month, which allowed me to check off that goal. Next is to post 6 times on YouTube. I kind of fell behind on posting this month because I got sick for like a week. I don't know if it was strep throat. I don't know what it was, but I literally could not speak, let alone pick up the camera to vlog. So I fell behind on this goal, but this video that you guys are watching, I'm hoping to get up on January 31st. So if you're watching on January 31st, I did achieve this goal. This will be my 6th video this month, so I'm checking it off because by the time I'm done filming this, I'm just gonna edit it and upload it as soon as possible. So that'll have been done. We've achieved that goal, fingers crossed. And then the 4th goal is to try a trampoline workout in Jersey City. There's this place in Jersey City that does trampoline workouts where you literally like physically jump on like a trampoline, like a singular trampoline, and you do like a workout routine on the trampoline. I did it twice. I did it once by myself, and then I invited a friend the second time. So I did achieve that goal. It was a lot of fun. Don't know if it will be a regular thing for me because I am the most uncoordinated human and I look like an actual goofball doing this workout. Is it a lot of fun? 100%. Doesn't make me laugh 100%, but just for like an everyday or every week workout, I just don't think it's practical. I'm just gonna do it like as I want to do it or with friends. So yeah, I achieved that goal. So I achieved all but 1 goal for the month of January, which is fine. Like I said, the first goal just wasn't even really a necessary goal in my opinion. I didn't need to do that, so there's that. Now I'm gonna take time and I'm gonna think about February goals that I want to set and what I want to achieve for the following month. I have a very fun trip coming up, so I just want to brainstorm like what is practical versus what is impractical, I guess. So let's take a second and set some February goals. Okay, we set the February goals. Let's go through that really quickly. Number 1, go to Europe. This is a big hint at where we're headed this month. I'm kind of like superstitious when it comes to sharing trips before they actually happen, because I just like, I'm always afraid that things are gonna happen. But I'll just say that we're going to Europe this month. I'm very excited for it. It's like our big trip of the year and I cannot wait. So that's gonna be a goal. 2 is to post 3 travel themed videos on YouTube. I am legitimately so excited to make these. I think that creating travel content and like travel videos is probably my favorite form of content to make, and I haven't been able to make one in a while because I really haven't been on like a actual vacation since over the summer, probably September maybe, I don't know. But I have a few ideas for like things that I want to create for the Europe trip specifically, like packing videos, potentially styling videos, travel prep videos, and then of course the actual travel vlog. So that is a goal this month, is to post at least 3, if not more, travel videos for YouTube. 3 is to put $184.50 into savings. That's the same as last month's goal. I'm just gonna probably put that goal in every single month because I feel like it'll help me stay on track. 4 is to read 4 books this month, which I'm gonna get into. It's like towards the end of the video. I read a lot of books this month, and since I'm traveling next month, I don't think I'll be reading as much. So I'm just gonna put on here to read 4 books. And then 5 is to stay on budget. I don't know if this one's gonna happen, but I'm gonna put on here in hopes that like I remind myself to stay on budget. I feel like when you're traveling, it's really hard to, for me, maybe not everyone, maybe this is just a me issue, but when I travel, I get into the mindset of like, oh, treat yourself, like we're on vacation, it doesn't matter, like so we can spend as much money as we want, you know, the whole 9 yards. And I think that that is a bad mindset sometimes. So I have a budget for myself, which we're gonna get into again a little later in the video, but I want to try to stay on budget and like not exceed my monthly budget just because I'm going on vacation. And I shouldn't, to be completely honest, like I would have to really do some damage in order to do that, but I'm just putting it as a February goal to remind myself that I should in fact stay on budget this month. Those are my February goals. I'm moving on to the next section, which is a quick little money chat. I want to preface this by saying that if you've come here for financial advice, you should not be doing that. I'm just showing you guys what works for me and what I've been doing recently, because I am not the best at managing money, to be completely, totally transparent, honest. The thought of budgeting really stresses me out. The thought of keeping track of everything I'm spending stresses me out. So in the past, I have never really budgeted, or I've attempted to. I definitely have attempted to, and I've shared that on here before. But it's never really been a successful budgeting situation. But like I mentioned, for my yearly goal, one of my yearly goals is to definitely spend less money and save more. And I have like savings goals that I want to hit. And I talked about wanting to invest and stuff like that. So I think that because of the fact that that goal is something that I set for the year, it is definitely important to get back to budgeting and finding a method that works for me, that I enjoy, that doesn't feel overwhelming and doesn't feel stressful. I'm gonna share what I've been doing to budget, I guess my paychecks, and just share with you guys like the reality of living in New York City, which is a very expensive city, and the whole 9 yards. So this is a very vulnerable section for me because I don't really like talking about money, and I don't like really sharing that much about money, if that makes sense. Like I never really have on my channel, but I do think that I can share it with still having like some sort of privacy for myself. Like I'm not going to show you guys like how much I make or like how much I pay in rent or any of like my specific monthly bills, but I will show you guys like kind of how I break things down and my thought process behind budgeting, because I think I found something that works for me, and I'm gonna continue to use it for the near future until I kind of get my spending and like saving under control. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly and like walk you guys through it. And I know that initially it's gonna seem super overwhelming because of how it looks, but I promise there's a method to the madness. So this is my 2023 budgeting spreadsheet. This is the January section, and I'm gonna make a new tab for each month and then just like copy it over and reset for the month. But this is how it's set up, and this is a system that works for me. Like I said, it probably looks very overwhelming to most, but in my head it works, and that's all that matters. So I'll kind of like walk you guys through how I set this up. So on the left side here, I have my income broken out by paycheck. So also to mention here before I get into this, I don't put any of like my YouTube income or anything like that on this spreadsheet because I want to try to live just off of my corporate paychecks because I don't make that much from YouTube to begin with, to be honest. So that mainly goes into savings or like paying off part of my credit card bill or something. So YouTube and social media checks are like not on here. But anyways, so I break my income out by 2 paychecks. I get 2 paychecks a month from my corporate job, obviously. So typically when these are not blacked out, this will show me like how much I would make on my first paycheck, and this will show me how much I make on my second paycheck, and then this is the combination of them both. So like the total between the 2 paychecks. Then I move over to this section, and these are like my reoccurring monthly expenses. So these are expenses that happen every single month on the same date, same time, typically the same price. Like my electricity kind of varies sometimes, so does rent, and I think that's the only thing that really varies, but for the most part these numbers stay the same and they happen every single month at the exact same time. So I just like am able to copy and paste them over to the next sheet without having to worry about them. So I broke up rent into 2 parts. Electricity, obviously, Lemonade, which is our insurance, Xfinity, which is our cable and Wi-Fi and stuff, storage unit here, and then streaming services. I pay for Paramount Plus, Disney, Hulu, and I think that's it. And then other random reoccurring expenses are Kindle Unlimited, ClassPass, Google Storage, Apple Storage, Epidemic Sound, which is what I use for YouTube to get like my non-copyrighted music from. So something new that I tried to do this month that I wouldn't necessarily recommend unless you are literally trying to hold yourself accountable, which is what I'm doing, is to write down every single expense that you have this month. This was an overwhelming thing for me to do, but I felt like it was very, very, very necessary to see what I'm spending my money on and what categories I can cut back on to maybe save more. So I wrote down literally every single thing I spent money on this month, which is crazy. And essentially I determined like my 4 biggest spending categories. So the random shopping, shocker, is the biggest category. I had a lot of big purchases this month, from the Aritzia pants that I bought that were very expensive, to the new snow boots, to what else is on here. I bought a new puffer jacket. Like, you know, just things add up. Definitely the Sephora restock, things add up. So that was my biggest spending category this month. Eating out was the 2nd biggest category this month, groceries 3rd, and then for some reason the subway/path, which is like the transportation method in the city, that was very expensive this month. I don't know like what I was doing. I think it might be because I've been going to all these workout classes in the city, but those are my 4 biggest spending categories. So I guess for the month of February, which again is going to be hard because I am traveling a lot, so I'm definitely going to be spending more than I would typically spend, but for the month of February, March, April, I'll just keep in mind that these are the categories that I spend a lot of money in, and see if I can like cut back somehow in these categories to essentially save more in the long run. So this is how I budget, how I'm planning to budget for the near future. Like I said, it all goes back towards that yearly goal that I set of trying to save more money, because my spending habits get the best of me, but also just like living in New York City is so expensive. It's such a social city, so you go out shopping a lot, you go out to eat a lot with friends, you go get drinks a lot, and it does add up over time. So that is that. I need a water break from talking so much. Let's move on to the monthly book recap. I'm gonna open up Goodreads so that I can like share with you guys the specific books that I've read every month. I'll also pop the books up on the screen. If you guys watch the vlogs regularly, some of these may be repeats because I actually just did like a book update in one of the recent vlogs where I literally talked about like either 4 or 5 of these books that I've read this month. So if you've already seen that, you can like skip through this section, or you can listen to me talk again. I don't really care either way. Okay, the first book that I read this month was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This has 4.26 stars on Goodreads, and I rated it like 3.5 stars. On Goodreads, in the moment I rated it 4 because I think I just like wanted it to be a 4-star read, but thinking back on it now, this was definitely a 3.5-star read. It's essentially about a professional tennis player who goes into retirement and then finds out that a new up-and-coming tennis player is going to beat her record, and she's so competitive that she doesn't want that to happen, so she goes back into the tennis world and playing tennis to try to like reclaim her title essentially. That is the gist of the book, I would say. And then my review for this was that the first 20% of the book felt like the storyline to the movie King Richard, but eventually veered off into its own direction. Didn't love the storyline overall, but enjoyed the writing. It was easy to read, and the ending did make me cry. If you don't have an interest in tennis or sports, I'm not sure you would like this book. Very heavy on the tennis lingo, and it's essentially what the entire book is about, with some romance thrown in there. I stand behind this review. Probably wouldn't change it, so just keep that in mind if you want to pick up the book in the future. Very heavy on the tennis. Second book that I read this month was Crown of Midnight, which is the second book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. This has 4.36 stars on Goodreads, and I rated it 3.5 stars. I didn't have much of a review on Goodreads about this one, but from what I remember, I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to like remember these books. I didn't love this one. This one almost made me quit the series, to be completely honest, and everyone kept telling me to like carry on, continue reading, and I'm very glad I did, because the book after this, which I'll get to, I ended up liking, but the second book of the Throne of Glass series, I was like, what is the point of this? What is happening? Is this going to be the entire series? And if it is it even worth it? So that was my review on that one. Third book that I read this month was The Do-Over by Lynn Painter, and this is a very, very cute book. It has 4.11 stars on Goodreads, and I rated it 4 stars out of 5, obviously. Literally the perfect Valentine's Day book, guys. Pick this up in February, right before Valentine's Day, because the whole plot and the storyline of the book is literally on Valentine's Day, so the perfect Valentine's Day book. My review was super cute rom-com, a combination of Groundhog's Day and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Wouldn't be surprised if Netflix picked this one up for a Netflix original movie. Would recommend reading it near Valentine's Day. See? Since that's the day that she repeats over and over again, essentially the main character for this book has like the worst Valentine's Day and ends up repeating the day over and over again, which is why I said that it sounds like Groundhog's Day. She like wakes up and has to repeat Valentine's Day like over and over again, so she does like all these things to try to get out of this loop, and I just thought it was a really cute book. I would say that it was definitely slow the first half, to the point where you're like, okay, how many times is she gonna repeat this day before something else happens? But the last 50% I like literally completed it, like zoomed by, so really liked that one. Fourth book that I read this month was Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. This is for all my spicy girls out there that like the spicier books. This has a 4.46 stars on Goodreads, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. This was a book that I actually picked up from TikTok, shocker, because everyone was like raving over it. And I would say that it lives up to the hype. I don't think that it's a 5-star read like everyone said it was, but I did really like it. My review was that this book is an emotional roller coaster, but I loved every second of it, and all I have to say is Noah freaking Riley, which is one of the main characters. I don't really know how to explain this book, so let me like look at the recap of it, because I'm gonna butcher the explanation. It says, a college romance. For years I've dreamt of what college could bring, and while some things changed, there was always one constant. It didn't matter how wild I allowed my imagination to run, it always led me back to the same place in the end. It led me to him. My future was clear and he was it, until suddenly he wasn't. Now I'm a shell of who I was, on a path too blurry to follow, and I see no way out, no way up. They say first loves last forever, and that's exactly what I'm afraid of. Very cute book. I liked it. Like I said, don't think it's a 5-star read like everyone hyped it up to be, but I did like it. It did make me cry, so do with that information what you would like. Next book that I read this month, which I think is the 5th book, is Heir of Fire, which is the 3rd book in the Throne of Glass series, and this is where I said the series gets better. So if you're reading the series, hang in there until the 3rd book, and then it's gonna take off. I gave it 4.5 stars, Goodreads gave it 4.46 stars, and I said definitely my favorite book in the Throne of Glass series yet. All of the new characters, cities, so on and so forth made this book felt completely different than the first 2, but in the best way possible. I stand by that. Like, there was a new setting, there were new characters, there was a new storyline, there were so many new things in this book that it felt like I was reading a completely different series, but like in a good way. I needed it. I needed the refresh. 6th book that I read this month was The Singing Trees by Boo Walker. This is a book that I have not heard anyone talk about, was not on TikTok. It was just a book that I stumbled across on Kindle Unlimited and was like, let me be quirky and read a book that no one else is reading. And I don't know if that was the best thing to do, to be honest. Goodreads gave this book 4.23 stars, and I don't know how it has that high of a rating, if I'm being completely honest, because this book was just kind of slow and the first half was very hard to get through. I will say the second half definitely made up for the first half, but the first half really did drag on to the point where I was like, do I DNF this? Do I stop trying to be quirky? Because it's not happening for me. But essentially, my memory card filled up. Essentially, the gist of this book is that a young artist is basically trying to pave her own path. Is that the saying? Like, find her own path in the 70s while facing like first loves, betrayal, war, family drama, and so much more. I personally wish that there was more to the story than what there was. Like, I just wanted some more, like, I don't know if I wanted something juicier or if I wanted more detail. I don't know what I wanted, but something was missing from this book in my opinion. But it is on Kindle Unlimited for all my Kindle girlies, if that is something that you're interested in. And then the last book that I read this month, which we did not end this month on a good note, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and Goodreads rated it 3.69 stars. I was very hesitant and have been putting this book off for a long time because I've heard not good things about it. Like, no one that I know that has read this book has really thoroughly enjoyed it, you know what I mean? But this was a Libby book that I was able to rent from the library, so I was like, if I can rent it for free and I don't have to buy it, I might as well read it. And maybe I just should not have, because I gave it 2.5 stars, and I truthfully literally almost DNF'd this book many times. I do not know what the storyline was in this book, where all these plot twists came from, or like what the heck was even going on, you know what I mean? It was just one of those books where you're sitting there the whole time with one giant question mark over your head thinking, why? Like, why did the author feel the need to include that? What the heck is happening? And for thriller books, like, you do want the mystery, like you want the question mark, but not throughout the whole book and not one giant question mark over your head. So I didn't like it. Personally, would not recommend it. I agree with everyone else saying that just not worth it, you know? Not the vibe. So that was the last book I read this month, and we did not end it on a good note. There's that. So those are all the books I read in the month of January. I read 7 books this month, and it was a good reading month for me overall, for the most part. Minus the books that had me questioning my sanity, so there's that. Okay, last part of this video, and then I promise you guys I'm done talking. If you haven't finished your coffee already, chug. If you haven't finished your water, chug. If you haven't written any of your goals, start writing, because we're gonna bring this video to a close with one final section, and that is things that I'm looking forward to in February. The biggest one that I mentioned in this video is that I'm going to Europe this month, and I could not be more excited for that. If you know me, you know that Europe is like my calling. I just thrive in Europe, and I haven't been back to Europe since I studied abroad my junior year of college, so it's been about 4 years now, and I've been to other places since then, like Costa Rica, but I'm so excited to go back to Europe. So there's that. That's probably the biggest one I'm looking forward to in February. Other things, we have some birthdays this month, we have anniversaries this month, we have little moments here and there. I'm very excited for February. I think it's gonna be a good month, and I'm so excited to bring you guys along with me for everything that happens in February, and I hope you guys are excited too. So with that being said, we are ending off the monthly reset video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there are any other sections that you would want me to include in future videos, if there are things you didn't like about this video that you thought were unnecessary, if there are questions that you have, feel free to leave anything and everything in the comments down below, because I'm more than happy to dive into or take away whatever if I do another monthly reset video in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe before exiting out of YouTube or going to the next video or doing whatever you want to do. Just make sure to subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all of the things, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.